Is it okay, Santosh?
చెక్ చేసిన ఒక్క నిమిషం సార్.
Yes, it is.
సార్ షేర్ అవుతుంది, లైవ్ కూడా వస్తుంది.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, friends. All my student friends today joining me on this session, and of course, all our friends on YouTube Live. This session is all about the psychology of change and change communication narratives. See, in the earlier session, we were discussing on uh, the change process and the change. It's a continuation to that. In the earlier sessions, we had, I think, 1 or 2 sessions on change management, and we've seen where change is to be navigated properly. And erstwhile market leaders are nowhere today because if they do not bother about the change and they'll be driven away in the market. There are two things happening. One is brand swapping, or what we call a brand swapping means here competitors will swap your markets. And the second important thing is if you are not market driven, what may happen is the customers will feel disgusted with your old bad product, and then they will switch over the brand, then switch brands. That means they will discard your brand and they will be accepting some other competitive brand as such. So your product will become competitive football either by the customers or by the competitors. And the second important thing is if you're not conscious about the technological changes that are taking place, and if you're not on the dot to accept technology to modernize the company, then of course is another important threat for you to face the change. And ultimately, of course, if you do not face a change and do not know something to do with the change, and if you fail to go for a change management process, then you are lost the game and you'll be quitting the markets. There is no other option. I have been talking to you about earlier about very good example of Nokia on mobile phones and such. So they ultimately, they lost the market ground, and ultimately they have. I mean, the Nokia has been acquired by Microsoft. You might be noticing that in the general body meeting, none other than the CEO and most of the directors wept. They said, "We don't know what has happened. We have not gone wrong, and we have not gone anything wrong, and all that. We have not done anything wrong," they said. But ultimately, what may happen is the market driven environment is such that you should be on your toes to accept even technological changes to stay back in the market. And Nokia did not do, not good enough in doing this navigation exercise with the change, and then they lost. The story and the moral of the story here is on change management. uh, you need to reposition your product a number of times in order to stay back in the market. If you cannot sell the product, sell your company. So that is the order of the day today. Because the navigation of change is a very important strategy. Because we are NDR also, we were talking about the VUCA model: highly volatile, highly uncertain, highly complex market scenarios today. VUCA: V for volatility, U for uncertainty, C for complex, A for ambiguous markets. Unless you clearly define your markets and in terms of competition, you will not be there. So because of this, change is imminent and you're supposed to transact the change. And the change management process, all that we have seen in the earlier sessions. Now, why we talk about the psychology of change is, now who is going to change? When we say that the change is to happen and change is to be gauged and change is to be managed, and you are supposed to lead the change. So this is something about people factor. How do people are being managed to accept the changes? That's why it is said here, don't use the word change, because in change management, storytelling is very, very difficult. There is an art and science of change management in order to manage psychology of change. People suffer a lot once they think that they are at a position of what you call volatile professional work ethic and all, because of the very many change factors. Now here the discussion would be on how you manage psychology of change, and how do you craft change communication narratives, how you talk about the change to your own employees without uttering the word called change, because change is a thing which cannot be swallowed straight away. That's the problem. So let us examine the issues involved. The change psychology I've already told you is that the key point here is change is an emotional journey, often met with uncertainty and resistance. Yes, when we say that we need to change, we need to move forward, and there is something going wrong in terms of technology or whatever you call it, in maybe in terms of economic policy changes, societal changes, legal changes, political changes, market changes, external environmental changes as such. So once you consider this, the shock happening, a tremor, market tremor, so what we call it, and then everybody will be in a position to tense. They'll be in a tense situation. That's why it is said change is an emotional journey. When it's an emotional journey, of course uncertainty will be there definitely, and when it's an emotional journey in the employee, from the employee's side, they will definitely resist. Now how do you manage this? Just examine one of the interesting aspects of how you need to manage psychology of change. Here, the Kubler-Ross change curve explains these stages. I just would like to give you the diagrammatic presentation also just now. So there are certain changes how the employees feel about the market tremor and likelihood of a big quake when the company goes out of order. So those stages are shock, of course, yes. Then denial. They don't want to do anything because of the psychological stress levels, and then they feel frustrated if things are moving faster, and they're compelled to do something, they'll be getting frustrated. That's called frustration. And then ultimately that may lead to depression stage. It's a point of no return almost. Then of course, when he and a confidence is to be infused here at this point of time, then they start experimenting new things, new technology, new procedures, new policy, new thinking, whatever. And then slowly a decision emerges. And then, of course, they get integrated into the entire scenario. So individuals and organizations face unique psychological impacts during this change minded. That's why we termed it as change psychology or psychology of change. The significance of empathy and proactive support in easing transactions is very, very important. See, look at from the perspective of the employees who are in the midst of turbulent waters, because everything is uncertain. Don't We don't know whether we will be having a market for your products or not, or we don't know there will be a thorough overhaul in the work-related climate, a change in technology, whatever it is. So we need to ease the transitions, right? See, you need to. There's a transition. There is no other alternative. Status quo ante is not possible. Meaning, as is, where is condition is not possible. You need to move, and the transition navigation is tricky. You need to manage the transitions very peacefully, and managing the emotional journey of the employees in these transitions. That's why the significance of empathy is very, very important. Answer all problems from the perspective of employees. Let me give you an example. The Tata Motors transitioned employees to electronic vehicle production lines, addressing fears of job loss through upskilling programs. You might be noticing it. See, from petrol vehicle, diesel vehicles to electronic vehicles, we have moved, and Tata Motors had to do a lot of things here in the process of managing resistance from the employee side by upskilling them by addressing their fears of joblessness. Let me give you the diagrammatic presentation of this kind of transition of change and psychology of change here. So on the x-axis we have time, and on the this is what we call time here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, or you may say something like that. Time, and here is the competence, the morale. I'm sorry, it's not. Yeah, it's morale and competence. Now, what may happen is when there is bigger things that are happening which go against the company, against the organization, like some competitive threat or technological upheaval or customer non-acceptance or competitors, strategies, powerful strategies, whatever it is. So there is every need for any company to reposition itself for tomorrow, day after. So what may happen in the first phase when some changes take place, which can, shake the company, is first of all is a shock, a big surprise or shock at the event that's happening. Maybe a competitive product entry, powerful entry of the competitors, or maybe technological innovation, technological change, which may throw your existing manufacturing processes out of order. So these things are shocks, big shocks. Then what may happen? Human psychology is that there is a denial. A denial is what you call disbelief, looking for evidence that is it true or not. Probably because of insecurity, people will be throwing these arguments as rumors, or not to be real unless they get some sort of evidence. That's why the first phase of insecurity feeling is that they tell to themselves that no, it's not real. Okay, so they deny that, and after denial you start recognizing things are different for you. So then they feel frustrated, sometimes very angry about things happening. Please note, this is a psychological phenomenon. Frustration, recognizing that the things are differently happening, and that's definitely disturbing us, the work related climate, procedures, systems, and all. Sometimes they feel angry and frustrated, and after that, next phase comes a deplorable scenario is depression, very low mood, and lacking sufficient energies. This is the stage. If not properly managed, the organization's work ethic will come to the lowest ebb, and the what you call the navigation phase becomes very, very tough, very tough. So here comes, it's of course you're coming into the rock bottom level from the employee standpoint. I mean, the psychology of the employees coming to depression. So now, are you interested to navigate or kill yourself? Two options. Killing oneself is the dirty option. To re-engineer yourself is the best option. So initial engagement with new situation, experiment it, try, take your employees into the ship, though there's a turbulent waters. Navigate the ship properly. Try, experiment initial engagement with new situation. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Then you decide. Learning how to work in the new situation, feeling more positive. All the negative influences must be thrown out of place and fill it with some sort of positivity. And organization is a company and organization supposed to give positive signals. That is the critical decision minded that can help secure when all ill feelings or negative feelings in the minds of the employees. Then, of course, slowly changes happening, changes are integrated, and what do you call a renewed individual today to integrate himself or herself with the organization growth process. Could you get the point? What I'm saying? This is psychology of change. Don't blame the employees for it. If you and me are in the same situation, you also feel the same way. So from shock to denial, denial to frustration, frustration to depression, the danger phase, from depression to experiment, the revival, experiment to decision, decision to integration. How good are you in managing these changes? Friends, that is the psychology of. Okay, when change is likely to happen, of course, why I already said in the earlier phase that should not use the word change. Okay, fine. But then how do you communicate change? Why change? Communication matters. See, the employees may not be in the know of things, right? You being the management, strategic level, you study markets, you study, external, internal environments, which influence the work-related climate. So sometimes, you need to manage the systems and navigate to a new phase in the process. So let's examine why change communication matters. Clear communication minimizes uncertainty and aligns everyone to a shared vision minded. See, this is a tactful way of doing things minded. A clear communication minimizes uncertainty, because what happens is when the situation is very uncertain, lot of rumors spread. If you do not clearly communicate, and everybody goes everything goes out of gear, so people may not align themselves to a shared vision. We're all one together, let us pass through the difficult phase and all that. Whatever may be the terminology that you use, you need to provide a clear communication which can minimize uncertainty. Then, of course, builds a psychological safety. Why change communication matters means build psychological safety, reducing resistance and fostering collaboration. So you need to manage resistance. Yes, absolutely. People will be there agitated because of a number of reasons. They may be relocated to different places. They may be shunted out of the organization because so many changes. That lot of fears in their mind. So, in order to build psychological safety and reduce resistance and fostering collaboration among themselves, there's a every need for a clear communication for change. And not only that, as I've already told you, so a lot of rumors get floated, unnecessary information will be passed on, which is not real, absolutely. So, this prevents misinformation and creates transparency in organizational goals, absolutely. Because this kind of change communication is set to be very clearly specified and positioned. It prevents misinformation and creates transparency in the organizational goals as such. Yeah, new way, new things happening, and we have to go in a new direction. So this change communication, it communicates the why, what, and how of the change effectively. Very, very important. You have to answer these questions. Why change now? What it matters? What is the change? And how the change should occur? Because ultimately, all of us in the organization have to be ready for a march towards a newer perspective, newer goal, newer environment. That's it. So let's examine a real of example here. Infosys used open forums and town halls during its leadership shift to clarify direction and strategy, ensuring employee trust. When Narayanamurthy Garu left the organization, of course he is invited. Once again, that's a different story. But what happens is when something happens, drastic happens, which try to influence the organizational work related climate as such. So employee engagement activities like town halls or the success stories there, because the 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 problem here is what to talk, how to talk to the people, and what type of things must be a matter of conversations among employees and all that. In order to avoid all misgivings, misinformation, you need to be careful here with come with a change communication. That's why it matters. How effective change communication influences employees in the organization. Please note. Of course, you are supposed to create awareness first. Awareness is to be created. You have to present the facts. So these are likely things happening today, and we are supposed to be aware of what's happening. Those who do not be aware, and those who are not aware of the market and external environment, may not be fitting people for organizational growth process and success story. You should be aware, because you're not an individual thing having a monopoly scenario. You have a set of variables, external variables. Please be cautious of what's happening in external variables, which will have a marked impact on your organization. So first one is awareness creation. Then of course understanding. Some people get some confusion and here and there and all that. So through your change communication, you should be in a position to make people understand why change. And third, you need to drive to acceptance. That means here in between these, you have a difficult phase to manage, that is resistance, employee resistance, because of number of factors. They are apprehensive about the new journey, so they resist. So slowly you need to manage, and this change communication should make an attempt, honest attempt, that people accept the new scenarios. And of course, slowly, by motivating them, you may be trying for them to integrate and invite their commitment. Absolutely. So this is the challenge. How effective change communication influences employees in the organization, from awareness to understanding, from understanding to acceptance, from acceptance to commitment. Absolutely fantastic. So let us examine narratives in change communication. How do we explain things? Of course, people are different in their perspective of explaining things, but here the power of storytelling is very, very important. See, how to start with is a major issue, and how to end is also a major issue. Start with an emotional connection and maintain same emotional connection till the end with the stakeholders, and see the magic, and the entire stakeholders team will have a recommitment towards this new journey. So that should be the power of storytelling. So create an emotional connection with stakeholders. Provide reliable, inspirational success stories always. Why we need to change? What can be the intended objectives? What are the intended objectives for this change? And how new scenario can be a success story, whatever. So the narratives should align with organizational mission and values. Whatever new steps that we are going to announce here must completely align with organizational mission and values. They may have their own doubts in their minds, or even they speak out. Why this change today? Tell me. So you need to explain. You must be in a position to explain every step that should align with organizational mission and values of tomorrow. That's what it means. So inclusive storytelling ensures all voices are heard. That means that you discuss among the employees in different groups in different power centers will be meeting, right? And inclusive storytelling, that means all of us are moving. I am not leaving you. We are not leaving us. We are together in this journey, mind it. So this inclusive storytelling ensures all voices are heard. Do not neglect people who are resisting change. Because what may happen is there are people and people in an organization. Some people say, yes, no, no problem, we'll move. And some people say, no, because of the psychological fears they have. So, are you interested to lose the people who are resisting? No, absolutely. They are the first people to be concentrated upon, as a matter of fact. So, inclusive storytelling ensures all voices are heard. Say, for example, Mahindra Group of Company. During its pivot to electric mobility, they used stories of rural India benefiting from green energy to inspire employees' feedback. Because there's a green investment, green energy, whatever you call it. So they started looking at some stories which can actually capture the employee's attention, and that kind of what you call emotional bondage. So you need to use certain frameworks, like, first, of course, if you do not uh, you know uh, uh, change, you have to accept a challenge. Are you there to accept a challenge and win? Of course, big question mark there. So that phase provokes them to get into action, the new action plan, the new journey, first step, whatever. And three, result is the success story. So you make the storytelling method with this framework. First, challenge. Next, suggested action. Three, the expected favorable result. This is the framework that we need to answer. This is what leadership storytelling is all about. So there'd be definitely an impact if you don't change, if you don't move to the newer scenarios. But then the story must be told in a very empathetic fashion. Challenge, action plan, and the result, expected result, always positive. So inclusive storytelling. Don't threaten the employees, but present the fact and figure, so that they can understand the scenario and always support. Because you see, the company should provide an evidence that there is a need for upskilling the employees, and they are behind the employees to upskill them to accept the newer challenges. Don't worry, we are there. All our systems will gear up to see that you're all well placed and well monitored, and what do you call, well satisfied. Let's all move faster to navigate this change. After all, this is an environmental pressure for all of us to make a journey into a new phase. Don't worry too much. That's the storytelling part of it. In the name of presenting the facts and figures, you should always be in a position to motivate them, please. Very, very important. Because there's all threatening scenarios. Of course, as a matter of fact, even top management also is in a dilemma too. But at the same time, you are supposed to be building up very good inclusive storytelling attempts. That's very important. That's what we call crafting a change communication. So let's examine how the employees' fears, etc., can be managed here through the role of coaching. Take people hands on, can be mentoring or coaching, whatever name you give, because that is very essential, because you're managing change here, new phase, new journey. So let's examine what are the things. What are the benefits of coaching as such? Addresses individual fears and doubts. Absolutely, yes. You just consider somebody else is a person who can take their own subordinates hands on, mentor, address individual fears and doubts. And second one, it helps employees visualize personal and professional growth process. Yeah, absolutely. It helps the employees visualizing their personal and professional growth process without any what do you call danger signals or whatever it is. No apprehensions. And it enhances problem solving and decision making skills. Because yes, because you're presenting facts in a fashion where there's a need for us to change, and you have to accept the journey. Let us sail smooth. Let us sail smooth. Even if the turbulent waters are there, let's sail smooth. I am here. The captain says, I am here. And the crew says, we are there. Let's move. So it helps employees visualize personal and professional growth. When it comes to newer phase, you see the development, both personal and professional growth you enjoy. That should be the thing. So let's examine the coaching process, how it starts. Step one, of course, is assessment of readiness for change. Of course, in the earlier sessions, we were talking on coaching leadership as a leader as a coach. We have different styles of coaching also in the earlier two sessions. We have done that. But here again, because the change process is a very difficult phase for any company to, transact and navigate. That's why coaching process essentials are said to be very important. So step one is assessment of readiness for change. First, see before it get resisted. First, you see how we are supposed to move, examine. That means you need to assess readiness for change. There are two aspects here. That's what we call readiness to change. If the company is not ready for change, you have to intervene fastly and make an attempt that the company is ready for change. Whether you conduct seminars, counseling exercises, or this, that, whatever, in order to move the people factor and getting them ready. So first is to go for assessment. Are we ready or not? I have already told you, if you're not getting yourself ready, the only alternative is to sell yourself to somebody. That's how the mergers, consolidations, etc. happen. That's a very, that's a bad option. You have to make yourself ready for change and get along with that and make a beautiful success story and retain your brand loyalty in the market. That should be the objective. But before that, you need to assess readiness to change, because if you can't answer the step, I mean a question in the step one, it becomes very difficult for you to originate change processes. What steps you need to take in order to manage change and all that. That's it. Step two, goal setting aligned with organizational changes. Now the a newer phase is realized. No, newer phase to enter. So you need to redefine your goals, goal setting, new goals. Again, same thing. All the new goals must be aligned with the organizational change forces. Very, very important. And the third, action plans and iterative feedback. Very important. Don't stop at goal setting and we have to do this, we have to do that. Then what is your action plan? Take hands on with all the employees and suggest action plans and iterative feedback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take every step the feedback, whether it's working or not. If it's not working, suggest changes, whatever. It should be an iterative feedback at every possible stage, because you're transacting change minded. You're navigating a change minded. So that's it. Step one, assessment of readiness to change. If you're not ready, prepare for readiness to change. Prepare for change again. Step two, a goal setting aligned with organizational change, new goals, new things happening. There should be aligned with organizational change. What is visualized must be achieved with this. So you need to be extra cautious on redefining your goals for newer journey. And three, not simply goal setting is enough, but suggest action plans, strategic action plans with iterative feedback. Step one, step two, step three, step four. That's iteration, right? So you need to examine whether it's working or not. If it's not working, what happens, what to do, and all that. So that can help, managing change. So let us examine this in another example. Of course, I need not have to overemphasize here. Wipro trained managers to coach teams during its shift to agile methodologies, leading to increased project delivery efficiency. Look at what it means when we say Wipro's example: problem, support, results, and success. Problem is a problem, okay. Now, provide consulting, support the individual employees' apprehensions, give them knowledge. So, search for results. If results are the best possible outcomes, naturally, because you're managing things cautiously, so then it will be a success story. So, coaching helps here. Role of mentoring in managing, of course, mentoring and coaching are generally used synonymously, but on the support system, intensive support system, when we talk about it, mentoring is much more than coaching as such. See, in most of the organization, we have mentor-mentee relationships because these things are very important, because to navigate uncertainties of change, mentoring is very, very important. That's it, taking people hands on. See, you have to take them on hand and see that they manage their uncertainties very well. So what is this mentoring dynamics I just now told you? It's something coaching plus. It provides a support system for mentees navigating the uncertainties of change. There definitely, because when you're into a new journey, there bound to be some uncertainties of change. But then support them, support the employees, mentees we call them. Provide a support system. Whatever support system is necessary, look at it. Then long-term guidance helps build resilience and a future ready mindset. Very, very important. They may think that absolutely, yes, our leader is there with us. Don't worry. Let's not worry. That's how you're supposed to build resilience. What happens is you're already in a strong position, but because of some market misfortune or whatever things that happen in external environment, you lost your strength. Are you not interested to rebuild your resilience? The answer is yes, but that requires a long-term guidance that helps build resilience and a future-ready mindset of the employees. They say, okay, let's not worry. If something oscillations come, we can face because our leader is there, our mentor is there. That's it. Encourages knowledge transfer and builds change champions in teams. Fantastic. The mentor does this kind of an exercise of encouraging knowledge transfer. Encouragement does not mean patting on the back and stop there. No, upskilling them, provide necessary knowledge, and that knowledge must be transferred by skilling them up, and builds change champions in the teams itself. Say, for example, a case in point here is Reliance Industries. Senior leaders mentored young professionals during Geo's launch. You know, Reliance Geo. In telecommunications, the big revolution Japan Reliance has brought in, ensuring innovative thinking and cultural alignment. So this is the position where you see that the situations are quite clear here. Senior leaders mentored young professionals during Geo's launch and ensuring innovative thinking and cultural alignment. It's a very good case in point here of the Reliance Industries. See, this is how mentoring goes. There's a direction, there is training, there is support, there is motivation, there is goal setting and all, and there is a success story. Mentor mentee relationship, especially in a scenario if everything goes well, you have routine management practices to follow and everything goes as per the schedule and as per order. But in case where there are certain shocks like this happening, then there are bound to be some tense situations and people get it depressed and all that, and the process they lose every confidence in the process of being there as a potent employees of the organization. That's a clear threat. Now, what are the common psychological barriers to change normally? Yeah, no. See, what happens is everybody wants a status quo ante. What is status quo ante? As is, where is condition? Because we're not interested to change. Think about ourselves, as a matter of fact. See, it is some sort of readjustment to new things become a tough thing for many of us, as a matter of fact, except in our case. innovators. So, what are the common barriers? Same thing happens in the organization as well. One is types of resistance. Let's examine. Number one, fear of the unknown. What happens next? Fear of unknown. No, we are making a new journey. Yeah, you are supposed to make a new journey. Otherwise, you have to quit. So quitting is the least option. So you have to walk. You have to move. And where are we going? That's why we said realignment of goals with the organizational goals. As a matter of fact, no, that's it. So fear of unknown one. That's the problem why people resist change. Number two, perceived loss of job security and status. You'll be relocated. You'll be what happens is you will be downsized. And downsizing of organizations, delayering of organizations is the order of the day. When a downsized means certain sectors of the people will be finding it very difficult for them to exist. So in the new job set scenario, some people have to quit. There is no option unless otherwise they reskill themselves, upskill themselves as a matter of fact. So another common barrier to change, psychological barrier to change is perceived loss of job security or status. Please note, it may not be real, it is perceived loss of job security. They say, no, 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 we may lose the job, so we need to protect ourselves and all. And the unions join and raise slogans and all that and resist or whatever. This things happening. Perceived loss of job security and status. And then over reliance on past methods. See, people are not interested to change. People are not interested to try new things. Maybe organizational climate also may not permit them to try for innovative ideas. So that's very static organizations of yesteryears will have these kind of wretched practices. Over reliance on past methods. So any change becomes a tough thing for them because you're over relying on the past method. That's again a major issue. So these are the types of resistance. Number one is fear of unknown. Number two is perceived loss of job security and status. Number three is over reliance on past methods. Then, what are the psychological theories that explain these barriers to change? Because we are talking about psychology of change. That's the reason why we are talking about it. The psychological theories, one is cognitive dissonance. You know what is meant by cognitive dissonance? Here it is. When beliefs conflict with new realities. See, you have a belief and the deep-seated belief in your mind. And you can't see a new reality. New reality forces you to accept a new journey phase. So that becomes a tough thing. So you start disowning. Initially, of course, it is to be managed properly. That's a different story. So cognitive dissonance works there when your beliefs conflict with new realities. Number two, Maslow theory of hierarchy. It says that safety needs must be satisfied. In a hierarchy of needs, right? Physical, psychological, like that. Resistance arises when safety needs feel threatened. Your job security, your place of a work. You maybe start, you might be a case where you may be asked to relocate yourself from Hyderabad to Mumbai, where you and your wife are working here in Hyderabad. Look at what it means. I'm just hypothetically presenting these things. So your safety needs a threat. So resistance arises when safety needs feel threatened. Example, when you know Air India's story, employees initially resisted privatization until Tata Group provided assurances, complete clarity on their future roles as such, how they navigated change. Look at what it means. So now, when you just consider that there's a big risk perceived, are you interested to mitigate the risk? What are the risk mitigation strategies, especially when when you have what you call employee resistance at the peak? The first one is risk avoidance, elimination of risks by avoiding risky activities. This may not be the first option, mind it. See, if you go on avoiding risk, you will not exist at all. When you say it's a business, business is meant for risk. Business is with risk factor. Where there is risk, there is a profit. It is said. Of course, you have to work on the basis of your risk appetite and your market potency. You can't take a risk beyond your imagination of management and all. That's why it said, don't bite more than what you can chew. Don't bite what more than what you can chew. So first of all, you decide the volume of business you are going to have. Decide it. Okay, that's first risk avoidance. Number two is risk transfer, shifting of risks to third parties and reducing the impact, meaning that you employ consultants for solutions and all that. Sometimes you can outsource certain principal activities, whatever you call it, so that others competencies can be made use of. That can be a risk transfer. And third one is risk reduction, controlling risk occurrence probability and its impact. Take proper care, absolute care, so that you can go on reducing the risks as such. And the fourth one is risk acceptance. You have to acknowledge the risk, and you have to move faster and all that, to accept certain risks, certain sacrifices as necessary. So that's how you have to go in for risk mitigation strategies in handling employees attitudes. Then let's look at overcoming resistance to through coaching and mentoring. We already talked about it, and in conclusion, I can say here. So, in the process of handling employees' apprehensions, fears, first point is that active listening to understand employees' fears and perspectives. Very, very important, because everybody will have their own story to tell. So please try to understand what they are going to tell. So passionate, empathetic listening is very, very important. Active listening. Then designing interventions to build trust, because they are in a position to lose trust. No, we are at risk here. Nobody will be saving us in the process. They start disbelieving the company systems, company leadership, everything. So, designing interventions to build trust. How can you build trust among employees is the first thing. So, those interventions are necessary, such as transparent goal setting and empathy led dialogues must take place. Mind it. Take them into your confidence fold. You and me are one and the same. So, transparent goal setting is needed because you take people into confidence. Participative management is here works well. Empathy led dialogues. What is meant by empathy led dialogues? Whatever you speak, you have to speak from the employee's perspective, understood. Otherwise, it becomes difficult. Trust gets lost and everything will become out of gear. Technology does not matter, friends, mind it. It's people factor is significant here in navigating changes, mind it. Of course, I'm not talking about the companies which are managed by robots and all. That's a distance goal, distant goal as such. But then when we talk about people factor and all that, no, yes, absolutely important for us to build trust. And empathy-led dialogues must take place in the process of navigating change. And then leveraging change champions to influence team dynamics positively. Yes, find out some positive people, some celebrities, some opinion leaders, what we call it, because as a single person you may not meet and meet and converse with thousands and or the people, right? So build up some change champions. They're opinion leaders, they are celebrities. Celebrities does not mean from sports or cinema, whatever, but there are people who can understand things, who can digest things, and who can influence others as such. So pick up those people and leverage these champions to influence team dynamics positively. You have to search for such people who can understand things well and who can influence the people well. That's it. Look at another example. Interesting. Flipkart. During Walmart's acquisition, now Flipkart acquired Walmart, you know that? Senior management coached teams to focus on growth opportunities rather than uncertainties, mind it. When Walmart is acquired, the Walmart at risk now? Yes, people at Walmart. So senior management coach teams to focus on growth opportunities, what they can have, not on uncertainties in the process of, the management of this acquisition process. Look at this things very interesting. This is employee team building activity. This is how we are supposed. This is what we call storytelling. Change storytelling. That's why experts now point out today that don't use the word change in the process. It's a new journey we are moving out, and we need to search out for ways and means to have all this. Of course, it may be a diplomatic way of saying things is not to speak of the word change, but at the same time, it's very important for us as a strategy specific in order to build employee team activities. Let's now work out a framework for change communication. See, the session centers around psychology of communication and the importance of change communication, how to craft change communication. The very important framework now based on AIM model, in short AIM, is called A for awareness, I for involvement, and M for motivation. First, let's see one by one. Awareness, address why change early and often. So don't delay the things, please. The shocks must be understood as they happen on the dot. That's it. See, if you avoid tremor, it is difficult to face an earthquake, mind it. There are n number of instances where companies which ignore tremors did find it difficult to face the quake and they're buried. So that's it. So awareness, address why change as early as possible and very often till the new journey takes a shape. Second one is involvement. Include employees in decision making process. What you talk about participative approach of making decisions, here it works well because you're empathetic and people are in the know of things what's happening. There's a transparent goal setting happens because the decision making process includes them all employees as far as possible. And third one is motivation. Highlight tangible benefits for the individuals and teams. When you want to make out a new journey and new destination, it's not a see, change is not a destination, it's a journey. From there again we have to take another journey like that. Did you want to have your own continued life in the market, as a matter of fact? So the next one is motivation. Highlight tangible benefits for individuals and teams to function. Then please note, continuous feedback ensures adaptability of communication strategies. Saying good things in a good way may not always result in good results, mind it. So you should know, is my communication, is this kind of communication strategy is working well or not? Because you have crafted a change communication in such a way that people of depression and demotivation must come back to their own vigor to accept a new phase of journey. So it's up to you to again search for the feedback. Continuous feedback ensures adaptability of communication strategies. Find it some other revised communication strategies, recraft change communication. If still there is an uncertainty, some ambiguity is there, some threats are being felt by the employees in the organization, whatever. A case in point here again is HDFC Bank. Shared success stories of early adopters of digital tools, motivating others to embrace change. They were talking about success stories of how to use a digital tool here because HDFC Bank is a new generation private sector bank with digitalized environment and way back in its start years. So shared success stories of early adopters for digital tools motivating others to embrace change. Yes, again, there is something problematic thing with regard to organizational culture sensitivity in change management. How do you manage? So you need to recognize certain culture nuances and values in change initiatives. See, what happens, every organization has got its own culture. Culture is the way in which people think and do things in a scenario. So what you need to do is you need to completely understand the existing culture and cultural issues and values when you're accepting a newer phenomenon, newer journey, new change initiatives as such. So tailor your communication and coaching to align with local contexts. Don't say that XYZ company does this, so let's also do this. No, no. You redefine it. You redefine the strategy and make it suitable, convenient to the existing, cultural sensitivity of the employees. Could you get the point? What I'm saying? Same strategies cannot be, imported and thrust on the heads of the employees. No, don't trust on them. So make redesigned versions of the strategies, good worked out strategies as such. Tailor your communication and coaching to align with local contexts. Say, for example, a good, again, case in point here is a Zomato. Balanced global operational changes with localized messaging during its international expansions. Now, Zomato has got its own brand image. The food delivery, one of the well, managed food delivery system globally. So that's how. See, cultural sensitivity is a matter where change management experts must try to understand. So don't try to import some other companies and this and that and all that. So you need to be extra cautious in the process of managing cultural aspects of the organization when you're attempting a change process. See, this is what it means when culture means here. It composes of all language, communication, and courtesies, rituals, and the roles, and the customs and traditions, values, etc., that are there, relationship format, and the practices, expected behaviors, and the values, thoughts, manners of interacting. XYZ is different. Companies are different here. This is what we call total culture, as a matter of fact. Not all, but many. No, many. So there'll be some sort of differences here. That's what when we talk about cultural sensitivity, as a matter of fact. So let's examine some points here. Real time change strategies in Indian organizations. With this, I think I can close here. Another five minutes more. So the key point here is combine incremental changes with transformational initiatives. Two options here, mind it. Are you planning for a smaller changes and gradual adjustments, or you suddenly initiate a transformational initiative, assuming radical overhauls? So here comes a difficult position. You combine these two. See, let there be slow changes taking place, incremental changes, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, slowly increase whatever interventions that you are going to suggest. These are called small gradual adjustments. It can be anything for that matter, manufacturing processes change, organizational climate reporting format change, or whatever. So combine incremental changes like small gradual adjustments with transformational initiatives or long term, radical overhauls. You can see the journey happening step by step, smoothly, so that resistances, if at all, if there is any, can be absolutely be better managed. That's it. So if you start doing a transformational initiative and thinking of doing a radical overhaul, it becomes a tough thing, and resistance to change is so heavy, may not be manageable at a given level. So that's it. Then promote cross-functional teams to drive innovation and alignment. Very, very important here is that all the departments are not watertight compartments minded. There is a perfect networking. should happen, especially in a situation where change is happening, new scenarios and new things. Like, you can't stick to your guns, like, I'm a finance department, I'm production department, I'm a marketing man, I'm something like that. No, every what do you call, the structure is under shock now. So promote cross functional teams. Let there be complete cooperation among different teams and cross functional teams to drive innovation and alignment. Because what happens is, something goes right in X department may not work well in Y department, because there may be some problem here and there. So you build up cross functional promotion among the teams, so that you can drive innovation with perfect alignment of team goals, inter team goals as such. A case in point here is Tata Consultancy Services used cross-functional collaboration to roll out cloud computing solutions during the pandemic, that's COVID-19, very swiftly. Think in terms of what it means. So this is what we mean by cross-functional teams and collaboration in organization departmental makeup. See, all people are getting together, respect, because the colors are changed deliberately, because to indicate that there are cross-functional people working. Maybe manufacturing, maybe finance, maybe quality, maybe marketing, or design, or customer surveys, or whatever. So the project leader at the center, and involvement of cross-functional teams as such. So let's examine how to measure the change success. If the psychology of change is answered, I mean, you are able to answer the challenges of crafting change communication. Here are some green signals. Key performance indicators must be examined. One is employee engagement scores. Those companies which have employee engagement scores very good, if you can measure it, because they're the key performance indicator to say whether the change is a success story or not. And second, speed of adoption of new processes. Of course, everybody is interested to change and all that. You have to run faster in the process of picking up our market story, reposition yourself. You see, if you start creeping, when you stand up, when you start walking, when you start running, so speed of adoption for new processes also is very, very important. A company which is under change process should have to exhibit at least good speed of adoption process. That's again another key performance indicator. Third is business outcomes like profitability and market share. There must be a green signal for you to say, yes, my market share is slowly improving. My books, company books are quite good, in the sense that you're making good amount of profits. Financial results are good. Business outcomes like profitability, etc. And then long-term monitoring ensures sustainability. All this is enough, okay, but you need to answer a sustainable growth process of the organization, long-term monitoring. What sort of arrangements that you make in order to assess this kind of a thing, like long-term monitoring? What is the long-term monitoring strategies you adopt? These are very important. A case in point here is ICICI Bank, another new generation private sector bank, traced automation project successes by monitoring customer satisfaction levels post implementation. See this tracking. They automated the projects and all that, fine. The success, etc., is to be monitored from which important key indicator? Customer satisfaction level post implementation of these things. So these things happen a lot when you talk about change organizations. I mean, they radically good organizations which are said to be managing changes as well. So in conclusion, the final thought which I would like to present here is that any company in the process of handling the change process and answering psychology of change, and crafting change communication strategy should necessarily embrace the psychology of change for smoother transitions. Very, very important. And coaching and mentoring empower teams and leaders alike. It's a two-way process. Leaders can get strengthened if their employees get motivated. How? You yourself, as a leader, should coach and mentor so that the employees can get motivated. That's a source of strength for you as a leader. And then effective communication is the backbone for successful change initiatives, mind it. If you can't craft a change communication, why, how, and all that questions are not answered, gone. My dear friends, here is an inspirational quote before we end here. Change is the end result of all true learning. Change cannot happen without learning, mind it. Lots and lots of things must be learned before accepting a new journey. So that's what it means when we say the things happening here. So I just stop here, stop the live stream, and make the forum open for discussion.